This is a Minuteman II missile in its silo under the Dakota Prairie. It no longer has a nuclear warhead, and it's here only as a display for visitors to what is now the Minuteman Missile National Historic Site. When these missiles were deactivated under the 1991 START Treaty, a provision allowed one site to be used for educational purposes, and this is it. National Park Ranger Chris Wilkinson was only a teenager when the Cold War was coming to an end, but he has become an expert on the missiles and their history.
If you look coming in on the left side of the missile, you'll see an umbilical cord attached to it. That is where the underground communications cables, which connect it with the Launch Control Center, bring a positive launch command into the missile's computer.
There were once 10 missiles in this area controlled by teams working at this site called Delta One. Chris Wilkinson says security was tight as teams rotated in and out of an underground bunker using top-secret codes to gain access.
Once they had deemed those codes authentic, this door, which was always kept closed and secured, would be buzzed open by the crew, the missile crew already on duty down below. Then a new missile crew could open this door on up. They would step in this elevator. And head down for a 24-hour shift.
Each team working here consisted of a commander and a deputy commander, neither of whom could carry out a launch without the other. If a launch order had ever come, Chris Wilkinson explains each man had exact duties to perform.
The commander would meet the deputy over at this red lock safe box. They each have their own separate locks on it. They take those off as fast as they can. They open that box up. Inside of it, they find a set of keys.
Both keys and both people were needed to initiate a launch.
The deputy would insert their key right here. The commander does the same and inserts their key right here. They're 12 feet apart, and they must be turned simultaneously. So if somebody goes bonkers in the middle of the night and shoots their partner, it's going to be impossible for one person to turn both keys at the same time.
On the other side of the world, the Soviets had a similar system, but in September 1983, according to documents that became available after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the unthinkable almost happened. Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov received information indicating the United States had fired missiles that were on their way over the North Pole. He doubted the information and held off sending it to higher authorities who might have ordered a counterattack. It turned out to be a computer error. Petrov, now retired, came to visit the South Dakota missile site in May, and Chris Wilkinson had a chance to meet the man who many believe saved the world.
And it really brought home to me how, even though we live in this world full of technology and all, it all comes down to human decision-making, and it's just ordinary people like myself or like Petrov or like yourself who make decisions every day that really decide the fate of the world. Yes,
the Minuteman Missile National Historic Site serves to remind visitors of the frightful technology available to humans and the need to be